Hello, my friends, and welcome to tonight's episode of The Strength of Thousands Adventure Path here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls. Hope you're doing well tonight. Announcements before we get started. Here they are. Number 1, other shows on the channel. Tomorrow night, Starfield. We're building Elisandra a badass ship. We're doing the Red Mile. And we are having a good time. And finishing off the Space Cowboy quest line with Elisandra. So now Elisandra will become a space pirate, corporate spy mastermind ranger.
And your little dog, too.
Yes. Oh, and off stream, I went to grab the character that Matt Mercer voiced, and now they're on my crew, so we're hanging out.
Nice.
Then on Wednesday, Wild Ambition. New arc starting. Join us for that.
Ooh.
It'll be a good time.
I'm so scared to start a new arc without Cooper and Zoe.
So am I. Then, on Friday, Astral Calling. Fun little thing. I have to do actual artwork myself for this one, and it's been a very interesting challenge.
I believe in you.
I could always help you, Will, and then hit myself so I forget what I did.
And I mean, you wouldn't have. It wouldn't be that bad if you knew. I'm having to make like backgrounds, like visual novel backgrounds.
Here we are at the classroom. Here we are on the school roof.
No, that's literally what I've been doing.
Here we are behind the bleachers. Ooh, what goes on here?
Yeah, that's literally what I've been doing.
It's the sports equipment shed that, oh no, we've gotten accidentally locked in.
But yeah, so Friday we have Astral Calling. Saturday, Assault and Sorcery. We are going to do it this week.
We may go late, but we may go
late. We're going to do it. I'm going to leave the pumpkin carving thing I'm doing with Emily a little bit early so we can.
Oh.
Don't worry, Will. I've got your pumpkin ready already.
Aw. But then, on Sunday Cozy Co-op, Sarah's back for that one. We love Sarah. Sarah's great. Teddy did really well, so send all the good vibes.
Teddy always does really well. Teddy's the best boy.
Teddy's a distinguished gentleman.
Teddy is a distinguished gentleman. You're so true.
But speaking of distinguished gentlemen, this game is run by one, and I'm going to hand it off to them, to the urban novelist known as Matt, to introduce everyone and do the rest of like the pre-actual show rambling.
Yes, hello everyone. As previously mentioned, I'm a distinguished gentleman. Let me go get my top hat and unicycle. Yes, I'm here to run these group of silly people through digressions from the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path. Yes, urban off various places on the internet, but you're not here really to talk about me. You're really here to learn about the people around me, who are all some kind of work of art, but specifically, Zoe, you tonight make me think of a work of art, beyond just the regular sense. So why don't you introduce yourself and the character you play, and tell me the answer to this silly question. If you could rule one planet in our solar system other than Earth, what would it be, and why?
Okay, excellent. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Zoe. I go by Zoe's Pose on the internet. Right now I'm doing Drawtober. So it's 6 prompts for the month of October. And this one was Moonlit Conservatory. So got a little like trying to do like a stained glass look or whatever.
It's giving very much like Nantambu stained glass, and I'm really like appreciating the connection, the synergy that we have.
Like your beautiful artwork that you made. Yeah.
Oh my god, like the beautiful artwork you have on your face right now. Oh my god.
Stop. In this campaign, I play Ophelia.
I love
she
you
is
all so
my
much.
whisper elf bard. She loves singing. That's her art. And if I were to rule over a planet, it'd be Pluto, because I love the discourse over whether it is or is not a planet, or is not a dog.
Or the Roman god of the underworld.
That too.
But speaking of those familiar with the stars and their mysterious movements, McKenna, why don't you introduce yourself and your character?
Hello, everyone. I am McKenna Ray Tynan of McKenna Ray Art on all of the apps and the .coms and such. Tonight I am playing Avi Avi, our Nyctera witch, and her familiar Agate. And what planet would I want to rule over? So here's
And
my
why?
question. Here is my question to you, Matt. Is this, in this hypothetical, are these planets habitable?
They either are, or you have like a space station in low orbit that you're ruling over.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
certain planets, for like Jupiter, you cannot land on Jupiter. It is a gas giant. If you were to get
Yeah.
anywhere near whatever core it may have, the gravity would crush you into a minuscule pancake. But you could have, I don't know, you could rule over it's like 30, I don't know how many.
All the moons.
Jupiter
there's
has
so
a
many
lot of
moons.
moons. Jupiter has a lot of moons.
There are so many good options. I think I'm gonna go with Venus. One, because I've been on a Mitski kick lately, and that one line, Venus, planet of love, was destroyed by global warming. Did its people want too much? Or did its people want too much? I love that. I love that. But also, does anyone else remember that? I think it was Ray Bradbury's short story where that little girl got locked in a closet on like the one day it didn't rain because she was being bullied. Was anyone else traumatized by Ray Bradbury as a child?
No.
I would like to be in charge of Venus so that I could punish those fucking bitches who were bullying Margot and also unlock the closet so that she could go enjoy the rain with everybody else or the sunshine. I don't remember which it was. What stuck with me is that it was deviously unfair and that there was no happy ending. Zoe, do you know the short story I'm talking about? Oh, I think it was called A Day Without Rain, Ray Bradbury.
That would be appropriate.
Heartbreaking.
But speaking of rain and creatures that enjoy the rain, like amphibians, Will, why don't you introduce yourself and your character?
I was expecting you to go with heartbreaking, but alright, hello, my name is Will. Also known as Tabletop Roles on the internet, playing Igara, Gamma, and Choco, summoner, and an animal companion, and their summon. And if I could rule a planet, it would be the moon.
Not a planet, babe.
It's a planet.
I'll allow it.
I'll take the
no.
moon.
It's got a
listen,
fame boost because it's our.
I am
You
curious.
take the moon, and you take the moon.
I'm serious. I'm curious if it can
Luna.
run. I'm curious if it can run Crisis. But yeah,
Honorable mention to Mars, which I would like to roll over just so that Elon Musk can't.
I was actually going to pick Mars for myself because it's the only planet in the solar system entirely inhabited by robots.
Curiosity does seem like a really good drinking buddy.
I just want
know
to
what I
rescue
mean?
all the robots
Eat
that
more.
slowly failed and came out of contact with their birth planet, and I just want to hold them tight like you did a good job.
you can do that in
I get
Starfield.
very teary-eyed thinking about the rovers.
Matthew, I'm gonna cry.
I went around repairing them in Starfield. It's the greatest thing.
Don't
you get
ever look up.
absolutely nothing from it, but it's so
What, them singing happy
nice.
birthday to themselves?
Don't ever look up comics about the robots asking if they can come home. It makes me so sad.
Just thinking about
I
that
can't
makes me
think about
sad.
space for too long, or I'm gonna cry.
Can we stop thinking about space? It's so scary.
It's not.
But let's bring
scary.
things back down to a
Sorry.
different planet altogether, Galarian, and let's roll that intro, Will.
Pushing the button.
Welcome back, everyone. We return to the Strength of Thousands adventure path
Oh, for
Or-
fuck's sakes, me.
Today's going to be a bit of an odd episode, starting with where the cameras are.
Yeah, sorry, y'all. I pushed the wrong button.
When last we left our group of lore speakers from the Magambia, the premier magic academy in Galarian, pardon me, they had decided to take a bit of a break and take care of some business closer to home. They returned from a diplomatic mission to the city of Mazzali, which was quite successful. They put in the work, and they achieved some amazing things. But upon returning to Nantambu and the Magambia, the magic school itself, they discovered that a few unfortunate irons that had been left in the furnace, so to speak, or in the fire, had grown a little more hot than they had hoped for. This metaphor is tortured, so I'm going to abandon it now. But you guys did not abandon these concerns, and in fact, you decided to investigate the magic shop of the city, the Black Hat, run by the mysterious and enigmatic Mercedes, whose behavior had taken a bit of a turn. Why this happened? You guys are still a little unclear on that, despite the fact that you entered into the black magic shop, managed to resist the raw animal magnetism of Salvador, and
Animal something.
yeah. I wanted to go a whole really hard with that, but no. This is a family-friendly stream.
Not in this good Christian Minecraft server.
Anyway, you guys managed to defeat both halves of Mercedes, who discovered that her head had now begun to operate independently from her body and was kind of in a crazed biting mood. But you guys managed to use one of her own stored magic items against her and freeze her head in a perfect globe of ice, which seems to have rendered the head and body inert for the time being. So we pick up in the aftermath of that fight. You guys are still in but in the basement of the Black Hat, in a bit of a, it seems almost to be like a gallery kind of archive where they have the stacks that you can pull out underneath these wooden platforms, but on the wooden platforms themselves there are a number of magic items on pillars to like display. This is where you grabbed the what was it called? The Hand of Winter or something.
I think it was the Talon of...
Thank you, yes. Talon of Winter.
Talon of something.
A few of them have been knocked onto the ground. The place seems to have been kind of tossed a little bit. You can imagine possibly Headless Mercedes kind of just wandering here and there, knocking things over as she gripped with whatever mania was consuming her. But yeah, you guys find yourself in here, and it does seem like the building is maybe not shaking as much anymore, and you don't see any new kind of glowing cracks. So whatever was causing instability in the very magic foundations of the building seems to have at least settled.
Iguro will go and grab the football and just kind of pick it up and go and hand it to Charlotte.
The football?
Yeah.
Are you talking
calling
about
Mercedes a football?
a person's head?
Well, it's meant to be more of a joke about, like, because people often would call a like the nuclear launch codes the football. So
there's the nuclear football. Yes.
Yeah, I'm making a joke about her being like a magical nuke, and I'm just handing her to Charlotte.
Will, please take 1 point of cold damage.
All right, that's fine.
This orb of ice is very cold, and it hurts to touch it with your bare skin.
I don't, but I'm not using bare hands. I'm using frog hands.
Frog hands?
I'm a slap
Even
you.
worse. And he can do it too.
And I'll enjoy it.
Some of your natural slime is frozen.
Oh.
My mucus.
Why, thank you for the villain point. in place of Implacable Lemon. I appreciate it.
I love your handle, Implacable Lemon. I hate what you're doing.
Feel free to use those specifically against it. Listen, Igor
Hey,
is
who is this? Is this someone we know?
There's no peace to be made with me. Peace was never an option.
Igora is the heel of wrestling of this party. It's fine.
I don't know who you are, Implacable Lemon, but you're a good time.
They're very implacable.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you, Crazy, for the karma point.
Oh, cosmic balance must be
We
your
are
thing.
back.
I appreciate
Avi-
the chat.
Hold on.
Gingerly takes off the
Perfectly
Talon,
balanced, as all things
as all
should
things
be.
should be. Gingerly takes off the Talon of Winter and sort of puts it back on the pedestal.
It does seem to have lost all of its luster. It seems like a very mundane armored gauntlet now.
You mentioned that it was a once a day sort of situation last week.
You surmise that.
I surmise that with my
Keen magical eye.
arcanery.
Yes.
Um,
You rolled quite well, I recall.
I did roll pretty well. I think it was a 19 on the die face. So Charlotte just said in the group chat before this session, because Shara couldn't make it tonight, that she's gonna catalog everything and see if there's anything that we could use to maybe unfreeze Mercedes. I'm gonna posit something here that I think is maybe not gonna be a popular suggestion. I don't think we should take anything from the store that does not belong to us.
I'm going to see if she has
Endures of Darkness is like, why do you think that would be unpopular? I think that's
I'm
why did
I'm
you
going to
Endures of
wanna
Darkness,
steal?
I think you have a wonderful soul. I don't think that would be unpopular with you. And she just sort of looks at Igora and Ophelia, and I'm like, Igora?
Oh, I'm going to
so
leave.
offended.
Listen, I came here to go shopping. If she has the items I want, I'm going to leave gold for her.
You.
Like, I have the money to pay
No,
for
she
them.
does not
Yes.
like dealing in gold.
I know she does not like dealing in gold, but that is how I feel most comfortable dealing with her. So, gonna
That's
do.
not how stores work. Okay.
You know what? I feel like she would make an exception.
All right,
for
well,
Igora
if
just
you-
because he was coming
if
to
if
her,
one
you know
of
what I
you
mean?
if one of you wants to go shopping for me, then you can, because I cannot find these items to save mine or Gama's life. And
Well,
Higura
what
kind of
items
chuckles
are
at
you
that.
looking for?
Literally a rock to float around my head.
Oh, an Eon Stone.
Yeah. Well, Higura's
Oh.
an idiot, so he doesn't know like the name of these things. So he's just like, literally, it's a floating rock.
You know, I once knew another idiot who really loved rocks.
Yeah, they died though.
Yeah, that's true. Fuck, that's right. You weren't there for that.
Is there anything you guys want to do in the Black Hat beyond just leaving Charlotte here to catalog things?
Hey, Ophelia, you want to go use that mirror again? Well, right here.
I'm not comfortable using it if Mercedes not here to supervise.
Okay,
That is
well,
a wise choice.
She'll let us use it. She'll let me use it if I really want to.
You say, glancing over at Mercedes, who's frozen in a kind of crazed smile inside the block of ice.
Yeah, I mean, because she still owes me, to be honest,
okay.
at this point.
True. That's true, and I don't know if this necessarily counts as my favor or not, but we'll see.
I feel like you could say it does, Avi.
I think that requires the consent of the proprietor. I came here of my own volition and did this voluntarily. I'm not going to do something voluntarily and then say that it counts as payment after.
Oh, Ego's
know-
getting lots of hero points tonight.
Ooh.
She may, she may ask us to come back and get rid of Salvador. Like, I don't know.
Oh, I was going
I
to do
think
that myself.
Salvador is currently in Gama's stomach, so...
Yeah. I have a plan for
I
Salvador.
forgot he was in there.
I don't. I have a plan for Salvador.
Ooh.
It's all good.
Oh no.
So I'm going to say out of character that I give Charlotte whatever help Sarah asks for next week. Not right now, knowing what that is.
I will just say that there's so much weird stuff in here that to get even a start on it is going to take this session, and by the time she gets
Yeah.
back, you'll actually be able to make some headway.
Gotcha.
It's a group effort.
Then, once I am satisfied that Charlotte is good on her own, I'm gonna start heading back to the Maccombia.
It's
Everyone
like
else is.
it's like the middle of the day, right?
Yeah, you guys.
At this point, it should be night because we were.
Oh wait,
at
yeah,
the
you guys
bar.
didn't rest
Oh.
for a day before you came back
Damn.
here. You kind of decided to
Okay.
come out. Yeah,
Well,
it was like nearing dusk when you arrived, and who knows if time works the same in here.
all right. I'm going to go.
It's not.
I'll go deal with the satyr, and
Gama seems to be looking like he has a bit of indigestion, and he just kind of whispers to you, Igra.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to hip thrust his way out.
that's fine. We'll get him out of there. We'll get him out of there real quick. I have the perfect home in mind for him.
What are you planning?
Nothing.
Remember, we're doing the
I
communication
know.
thing now.
I'm literally this. There's no plan to this. Remember that exotic animal dealer that we went and helped
She
out
was
way
a
back when, who was a
bitch.
little bit rude to us? I'm just
She
going to
was
put
so
this
That
on
was
her
a
doorstep.
long time
I'm just
ago.
going to put this on her doorstep and walk away.
This just in. Igra holds grudges. Like the tiniest little ones.
I mean, it's
This
easy.
just in.
This
You're
just-
just now.
To be fair, it's very easy for him to hold grudges because he can put them in Gama's stomach. It's very easy to carry them that way.
You know,
Who said that?
So
y'all
good.
listen.
Okay.
That's fine.
Also, I should ask two things. One, who is currently holding the orb?
Charlotte.
Charlotte, so you're going to leave Mercedes' head here?
I'm
Yeah.
going to leave that up to Charlotte.
Okay. Second, are you doing anything with the body?
Yes.
Nah.
I guess I will take a pulse to see if it's still alive. Will it need food? Is it
The
in
body
some
is
sort
still
of stasis?
comfortably warm to the touch.
Yeah,
And
Igor
there
is
is
tying it up.
There is a pulse.
Well, she's alive, so
Her
whether
skin
this is
very soft.
like a cute magical sleep where she like doesn't need to go to the bathroom or anything, or whether this is a coma, I'll leave that to you, Charlotte. You know more about medicine than I do.
Igor is going to tie up the body in a way that it won't be able to do somatic components for spells, and it won't be able to like really move all that much.
Describe your not work.
No, I will not describe my
Matthew!
not work. Thank you.
How many ties are we talking about?
Enough, and we'll leave it at that.
Correct answer, Will. Enough.
You guys just turn around. That was Salvador's head sticking out saying that.
Gamma, suck it back in.
Oh,
Ugh.
God.
Yes.
You know what?
It's
I have a
it's
better
so
idea
warm
now.
and gooey in here.
Matthew.
Matthew.
You're doing too good of a job.
Congratulations. We hate him. Can we move on?
Yes, I've achieved everything I wanted now.
Okay. Well,
Okay. All right, so y'all head back to the Magambia.
So good.
You drop
Yes.
off the horrible, inappropriate satyr in front of the mean pet shop, and he just sort of like, "Oh, I've fallen.
I can't.
I need help."
I'm stuck.
Oh my god. Oh.
I'm picturing
No,
that
Will.
baby ox from the Trail to Oregon.
Oh.
Whoops! I slipped.
Yeah, but you head back to the Magambia.
That's the
Night
one.
has now fallen. The magical lanterns are being lit. The school is as nice as you guys all remember. You know, at nighttime, various students sort of take it on rotation to practice their dancing light and light spells. So
Aw.
every time you come back to the school at night, the lights are always slightly different, like they're a little different colors, and some people, you know, conjure their dancing lights as butterflies. Sometimes someone's done an entire little, like, planetarium of orbiting planets or something inside a lantern. You guys remember the one time you saw Kiara do it, her dancing lights took the form of little ghostly paper lanterns.
Aw.
Aw.
Avi will cast light on something quietly as she goes by. Like, if a student is struggling, she will just very quietly, like, boop.
Avi, Ophelia, I'm going to head to the cafeteria for a moment to grab some snacks tonight. Do y'all want me to get you anything while I'm there?
I was actually just pondering if we should all go say hi to Lucy Yao and get some pastries.
That sounds amazing. I'm gonna go say hi to Miriama before it gets too late.
All right.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we're splitting up into 2 groups here.
Yeah.
Yee.
All right, let's do with the cafeteria first.
All
So
right.
Igara and Ophelia head to the cafeteria.
Igora just goes back into the kitchen because we do have open access to it.
Yes.
Still?
Ophelia had open access as just a student, just saying.
And Igor
Oh,
is
those
going to
halcyon
go.
days. Those long ago days.
Igor is going to go, and they're going to take some honey. They're going to heat up the honey. And while the honey's heating, they're going to go and they're going to use a Ray of Frost spell on like a stone slate. And I'm going to pour the honey on the stone slate. I'm going to put some flies in it. I'm going to stick a wooden thing in it and like spin it so that the flies get stuck in it and make like a honey lollipop out of for myself. I just put that in.
That's so great for you.
You know, if you did this with maple syrup, it'd be a Canadian delicacy without the flies.
What's a Canadian?
That's a good question.
Ooh.
I mean, we do have
Silly
there
Igra,
is-
Canadians aren't real.
You're right. I apologize. A Russian delicacy.
That's not much better.
No, but they do exist in the Galarian, so there's a whole
I
group.
do
of
remember one
isekai.
student talking about them doing some divination through a planar portal and seeing a land of frost and snow ruled over by gigantic saber-toothed beavers.
Oh
Yeah,
my god. Incredible.
that'd be fun.
While you're doing that,
Do you want one,
Ophelia's
Ophelia?
gonna brew some. Nope, I'm gonna brew some tea,
I can
and
do it
that's
with
where
just-
my honey will go.
I can
in
do it with
tea.
just the honey. You don't need the
No,
flies.
No,
Okay.
There is some lovely new blends of tea that have been introduced to the cafeteria since you left. There's like some rose tea. There is an interesting like honey mint.
Hmm.
Some of them are a little experimental, but you know they always like to try new things because, you know, always have to keep trying new stuff. Can't rest on your laurels, especially with confections and food.
Awesome. Gonna pull out my little thermos, and it's a split thermos, so she's gonna try 2 different flavors of tea at once.
Delightful.
One for Avi and one for herself.
Anything else you wanted to take care of at the cafeteria, or just kind of loading up on late night supplies?
Night supplies. Is anybody there? Is it too late?
It appears to be the evening crew in terms of the staff. Like the head chef and everything has headed back to their home probably for the day. There's a few people just sort of like handling a little bit of prep for tomorrow and just making sure everyone who's coming in for like late night study aids and stuff. You see a few students in the back, you know, with large mugs of something with stimulants in them, keeping them up as they study big stacks of books. There's a couple other students that seem to be enjoying some like celebratory fruit juice because they seem to have had like a good presentation in class or something. Yeah, it's pretty sparse. It is. This is very much well after the post-dinner rush now, and most people are probably back either studying or early, or anyone who's early to bed is already probably getting ready. So.
All right, snack run it is. We don't see Shazari anywhere, do we?
No.
No, he's back in the still probably.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna zip over then to Avi. You are going looking for Mariama. I'm assuming you're just going back to your old stomping grounds of the Spire Dormitory.
Yeah, unless I know her at this time to usually be at the library, in which case I would go there first, but probably
think-
the dorms.
Yeah, I think you ran into someone who was able to tell you that she's back in her dorm room.
Okay. Then I knock. Hello?
Oh, yes. Opens the door. Avi,
Hi.
you're back.
Yeah. How have you been? I'm sorry if it's late. We can do this tomorrow if you want.
No. I have some interesting news. So kind of
I
glances
was so
around.
hoping you would say that.
Come on, come in.
I come in.
Close the door, and she kind of ushers you over and lets you sit on like a chair next to her, a desk or something. And she moves over to a little closet. She's like, "Now, I have some interesting news, but don't freak out. This is not what you think." And she opens her closet, and you see inside a white robe.
Oh boy.
Now, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. I haven't, really joined or anything. But I was getting extremely frustrated because no matter who I talked to or what kind of investigation I did, couldn't get past the front door, essentially. And I was worried that if I kept pushing and I kept asking questions and things, they would just stonewall me.
Yeah.
So, with a little help from people around, I did myself up with makeup and everything. I did my hair differently, and I managed to get in the door as kind of like a low-level initiate.
Okay. I am excited about the premise of this. I am also very scared for your safety.
It was interesting.
Oh, so you've already like been how long? When was
It
this
was
development?
just the last month, and it's just been a couple of times. I didn't want to seem too eager.
Of course,
So
of course.
I didn't want to too much exposure because I am still concerned some of them may recognize me from all the times I sort of tried to just chat them up. But
Right.
it's been interesting. They really seem to operate on sort of like a tiered system where certain levels of information are specifically kept just for people on the certain tiers. Like you have to go through a lot of process before they trust you.
Not unusual for organizations like this.
So-
but
As much as I would like to say I've got the inside scoop, I've just been able to get into the building and have not been, under complete surveillance the whole time as a guest. I've been able to sit in a room. I've had like stew. They seem to be big on stew.
they're really big on stew.
I mean, it's very popular. A lot of people come in just for the stew, and that's how they get you. I think they really seem to be about low-level grassroots kind of draw people in.
Oh God.
They
They're
want-
about
they-
some kind of roots, I'll tell you that.
They want to be friendly with just the common people of the street and everything. They've done reach outs and stuff. They have volunteered people to do light labor around the city. They have opened up like an open air, like not inside their compound. They've opened up like an open air daycare where people in the market can leave their kids in an area that they're supervised, so they don't have to carry them with them as they're going shopping and everything, but they don't just let them loose.
I think I saw that going around on Tombu earlier today.
But I'll tell you the one thing I have really noticed, for whatever reason, they really want to know stories. They are very interested in people hearing stories, and if they like the stories, and if you see them, you have like a lot of them, or you tell them really well, or if you're very invested in the story you're telling, then they start maybe inching you up into higher tiers, and then you go into like the closed door rooms. And maybe, I don't know what level you have to reach to do this, you get led into the courtyard where I think the tree is rooted.
That tree.
I caught a glimpse of the tree through an open door at one point, and it had a lot of people just sitting around it in a circle. They were just
Good
like
to know.
talking, and they had like scrolls and books.
Good to know that there are people around the tree at all times.
I don't know that necessarily, but I just saw like the time I saw it, there were people attending to the tree, seemingly.
Right. Just, Igro was not super keen on that tree and was like,
Well-
what if we just destroyed it? And I was like, that could be
You-
harmful to people around
You
it.
know, Avi, that one of the notable skills that Mariama has is that she has some training in some levels in occultism and religion.
Yes.
And so she's got a bit of an educated opinion on this, and she specifically lets you know she does get a weird vibe from the tree.
Weird vibe. I just wish we had more to go on than that. Because
They are being very careful with their secrets and their information. It's almost like a mystery cult, except for the fact that, they're in the middle of the street.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I feel like before we go any further than this, I need to tell you everything that's been going on with them
Okay.
and why we were interested in the first place. And specifically how I think this relates to Kiara, which is why I'm so interested in them in the first place. If they were just some other, cult, whatever, they'll just come and go. The Fae live long enough to see such things build themselves up and then collapse multiple times in our lifetime.
Yeah.
But this concerns me on account of her involvement, and also because on our return trip from Jula, our convoy was attacked by members of the Illuminated Tree. Granted, I think they were mostly after Igora for some reason.
Why
But we don't-
Ikara? Did he make enemies or something?
Oh, probably. You know Igora.
Everyone knows Igora.
Well, I know Igora is a frog of strong convictions.
Is such a kind way to put it. I'm sure he would appreciate that. But regardless, they did attack members of the Magambia, like multiple members of the Magambia. So it is a little concerning that they want to get in here so badly.
Do you have any proof of that? Like, you have physical proof you could share?
That's the thing, is outside of, if someone were to do like join pasts or modify memory or anything like that, zone of truth, we'd be telling the truth. But outside of things like that, no.
See, I've studied some old historical texts about people who have tried to bring like legal cases against like certain cults and religions and temples and the like, and they have gotten very good about handling the use of like zone of truth. They will often say like, "Oh, yes, this is true. You are telling the truth about what you believe."
Right, which is part of the reason why I haven't just come forward and started screaming about it, because it's just not going to do anyone any good. It's not going to fix anything.
And I will tell you, Avi, at this point, even if the Magambia brings some like solid accusations against them, I worry the effect it'll have on the Magambia's reputation in the city. Because it seems like this group, the Illuminated Tree, they've worked their magic on a lot of the common people of the city.
I know.
They seem very popular, and people feel like that they are friendly and helpful people, and I imagine that's by design.
Yeah, it is.
I just kind of wish this is a weird thing to say, but I kind of wish they would try something a little more nefarious so they could potentially be caught in the act.
Catch them in something. I agree, but I don't really know.
Well, kind of glances over the robe in the closet. Do you think you might have more luck than I have?
I don't. I'm a very bad liar. I think they'd suss me out immediately. It doesn't help that I think Kiara is kind of at the heart of this. Okay, it's a long story, and I pull out the cork board with the red yarn and the journals, and
You invented cork? Amazing. No, they
I'm
have
sure they
have wine.
cork
They have wine
here.
bottles in here. Isn't this?
Yeah, the innovations that humanity has created for the preservation of alcohol.
There are no humans in the party.
I didn't say they were humans from the party.
I'm just curious that you immediately attributed it to humanity. I personally would think an elf probably invented corks for wine, but then again, I'm prejudiced against elves.
Yeah. I tell her the whole spiel, because I think beforehand all I had told her is that like I suspected that this cult was involved in some way with Kiara's disappearance. But now she's getting the whole kit and caboodle. You know, my suspicions on her origin story and this cult, and you know, the sendings and the commune ritual, all of it, so that she has all of the same information I do. And she caps it off with like, I just can't help but feel that I'm missing something, or that I've misinterpreted something, or that I'm operating on some kind of assumption that is not accurate.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Oh no.
Actually, you know what? Actually, no. Give me a Arcana check, because you were trying to share what you know, and I'm just trying to see how well you translate some of your information to. Awesome.
Oh, what did I roll? 43. I'll take a 43.
All right.
Look, I'll take a
So,
43.
funny thing, it specifically says in Mariama's profile that Mariama can rapidly piece together disparate clues.
I love this girl.
It does say her focus on the occult and the exceptional often leads her astray. But she listens to you about what you've learned about the possible kind of history that you've pieced together about Kiara and her possible connection to this unnamed divinity that has connection to Grandmother Spider, and like with something about stories and the like. And Miriam stares at your corkboard, and she kind of stares at it. You can see like wheels turning behind her eyes, and she turns to you. She's like, no one has seen any amount of water or fertilizer or soil going in to feed this tree, and it has grown rapidly. What if they are feeding it with stories, with tales?
Okay. That would make sense. I did have that dream that was like that.
She like, you can almost picture a tinfoil hat descending onto her head.
No.
What if this isn't the only one? What if these are like lightning rods for power of stories, and that what if there's more trees and they're all connected, and if they're funneling power somewhere else? We've all been like, the school has been all like, oh, we need to look at the tree or something and see what it's doing and stuff, and not a whole lot has been found from that, especially since we can't get close to it. What if we've been looking too high up? What if we need to look at under? Or no, oh, and she kind of points at the red strings and kind of traces her line along it. We haven't considered the ley lines.
The ley lines?
Magic runs through the world in sometimes strong currents. She starts ruffling papers on her desk and stuff, and she pulls out this map of Untambu. And her eyes kind of go wide, and she stabs a finger, and you see where she's pointing on the map. There is kind of a fork of 3 kind of blue lines on this map that kind of have been drawn on the city, and you see where she's staring. Right where these 3 lines meet is where the illuminated tree has made their thing. They have parked that tree right on the convergence of natural rivers of magic.
Oh, this is bad.
We need to know. The thing is, we don't know what their end goal is. It's hard to stop something if we don't know what the plan is. Like, we could go in there, fireballs ablazing, Igora sonic bumping with his tum-tum, with his big frog.
He does do that.
Unless we know what they're doing with it and what the purpose is, we could make it worse.
Well, and that's the thing. If it weren't for this whole business with Kiara and them attacking us, I wouldn't assume that they were anything other than, like, maybe not benign, but not necessarily harmful either. But this whole thing with Kiara and the druids and the ziggurat and those ink things,
It is such the attack on Igora is such an anomaly. As far as I can tell, they've made no aggressive actions to anyone. The only people we know that they're armed are the guards they have. Why would they attack him? That seems like it blows their cover.
Bobby sort of makes a face and goes, well,
you know, Igra's done a lot of stuff and knows a lot of people, and a lot of them before he came to the Macambia.
Yeah, but
Great.
the Illuminate tree is a recent thing. They have nothing to gain by digging up old grudges.
Right. I
I'm
don't
just
know if
wondering,
it's-
was this like they've taken no action to him in the city, right?
don't know.
Could there be dissent in the Illuminated Tree? Could someone have been acting independently without higher up approval?
Well, that we know for sure happens on account of this, and I sort of point at that sketch. The man who sent the man who had this sketch was not supposed to have done that. Didn't sound like. Sounded like the person who was really in charge did not want us being surveyed, but this individual sort of middle management thought that they knew better. I hope that worked out for them, but we didn't give them diddly squat, so probably not. Would be my educated guess. But Igor promised not to tell anyone about this because I don't think he'd like it if it got out. Was sort of in a cult before coming here, like a full blown cult.
I mean, what is that not common knowledge?
Point of order. That is common knowledge.
I wasn't sure if it was
Yeah.
common knowledge.
No, that
or
is
not.
that
I mean,
is that
it's
is
kinda
common
common
knowledge.
It's kind of common knowledge around the Spire Dormitory and maybe some of the faculty. He didn't go shouting it as he went, for his morning runs or anything. Like,
right, like
"Well,
I'm pretty
time
sure
to do
it
my
wasn't
cult
like
workout."
Oh, here's your syllabus, and also, I was formerly in a cult.
Hi
I don't
there,
know.
my name's
Igora.
Hello there, my name's Igora. I was a former cultist. I have
I'm
to tell
required to
I'm
inform you.
retired to inform you.
Oh God.
I actually do have. I would at this point. I would like to ask because Igora, as a lore speaker, has had the lead classes and probably had some conversations with students. Would you have been honest with them? Would you have
Oh, yeah.
sat
No,
and told
Igora's very open
anecdote?
about their past and their history because I think it's important to understand that's like, hey, I was born into this environment that I thought was the right thing for my entire life until I realized it wasn't. And you know what? You can make changes. Yada yada. People can grow. If they're incapable of growth, then yeah, they need to be killed. Like if I ever go back to my family, I'm murdering them all. But, do your thing.
It should also be noted that in Mariama's profile, it also mentions that while drunk at one point, she nearly started a cult.
I love her. I
Yeah.
love this NPC so much. But Avi, because she was never present for any conversation between Igor and Miriama in which Igor divulged that information, speaks about it as if it is something that maybe she does not know.
And Miriama just has like this. Yeah, about that.
Oh, I didn't know if this was something that just everyone knew or not. But if it were me, I don't know if I would want it to be super.
I'm pretty sure Shazare knows, though I didn't
for
hear it
sure.
from them. They're very tight-lipped about their conversations with Igora.
Yeah, they're just close buddies, I think.
They were roommates.
They were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
Listen, the Igora Shazari ship is real.
What shall we call it? Frog and fur? Webs and
No,
fur?
okay, you've ruined it for me now,
Okay,
Matt.
well, anyway, getting back
It's
to
dead
this.
now.
It's dead
Um,
now. You've sunk the
I'm-
ship.
Stab.
I'm sort of thinking that maybe this cult was sort of absorbed into this other cult. We can call it a cult, right? The Illuminated Tree.
She
It's
kind of
not-
like steeples her
not bad.
fingers and looks at the corkboard. What leads you to this conclusion?
Well, even if it's not a cult in the way that Igora's thing is a cult, anything can be a cult. They are
No, I mean-
worshipping-
What leads you to believe that Igora's old cult has been absorbed into the new one?
Okay, this might sound like a little frogist, but one of the things that attacked us was a frog just like Gamma. And it seemed personal.
That is very strange
Right?
because Gamma is an Eidolon. He's a summoned creature.
Eidolon?
Eidolon. Yeah, thank you. I haven't
Was
said
that
that word out in a
dinosaur?
long time.
Eidolon.
Eilodon.
Dinosaur?
That's
Eidolon.
my favorite dinosaur.
They're
I'm just a
I mean,
Heterodontosaurus.
he is, but he's also like a summoned creature from the Feywild. So I don't think it would
Avi,
be
Avi.
him. Yes.
How similar to Gamma was it?
I mean, it was dark. It was night. But I mean, it was Gamma wearing robes with candles on their head, basically.
No, it
I had
wasn't.
a hard time telling the difference. Again, I don't know if that's insensitive to say. Not that all frogs look the same or anything.
I
This
should
is-
mention he didn't have any of the cult's accoutrements on it.
Didn't he?
No.
I thought he was in the robes.
No, the other
Oh, it's-
people were candle heads.
Yeah. Remember, Gamma can't wear really clothes. He's a giant.
I had
Frog.
been picturing this giant frog in robes
Listen.
the
Nope.
whole time.
Nope.
Listen, if I
The
wanted
whole
to make him
time.
clothes, I could make him clothes.
You could. They would be very awkwardly sized.
I,
But
I'm going to say this again. Gamma has been wearing clothes this entire time.
what kind of clothes does Gamma wear?
He has like a little like vest that he has, like a blue
That's-
vest. It's
Yep, that's clothes.
yeah, like he has like a blue vest that goes over top of him.
Is this something you made for him, or is this something?
No,
he
this
appears
is something
with when
that
he's
Gamma.
summoned?
This is something that Gamma has had forever because, as I've said a million times, Gamma is based off of Gamma Kichi, so he has like
No.
a similar.
Yes, but well, is this something that comes with him when he's summoned, or is it something you made for him that has then become something he
This
wears?
is something that comes with him when he is summoned. The
Okay.
clothing is part of Gamma's being.
So then, yes, the other one did have some clothes.
Whoa.
But not the
Oh.
illuminated tree accoutrement.
No.
Whoa.
The only connection to the illuminated tree is that it seemed to be working in concert with some people.
I rescind my previous statement. It seemed like they were working in concert with some other people.
Consort.
It's very unusual though to see, unless one of them was also a summoner. Like, how could there be another Gamma, though an antagonistic one? That's strange.
I mean, that's
I need to
what
talk to some.
thought.
I need to talk to some summoners.
Talk to Ikra. They were in the cafeteria. I can invite them here. I just wanted to get here and talk to you before it got too late. Because I had a feeling this was gonna be a long conversation.
I mean, she starts rifling through her old books, and you do recall a story hearing once about Mariama, who, while during a complex mathematical proof, accidentally summoned a devil
Yeah, I remember
through the
that
power
story.
of math.
I have two things that I want to do moving forward to see if maybe it might yield more information without dealing with the enlightened tree, illuminated tree specifically. One, I want to go to administration. I want to give Teacher Op the opportunity to make good on, what he said about taking this business with Kiara seriously and looking into it. I don't.
To be
No,
fair,
if
Teacher
he's-
Ott's been gone for months with you guys in Mazzali.
Well, I've been gone for months in Mazzali too. That didn't stop me. But I understand your point. Also, it's still been like a year. He could have done something before we got to Mazzali. Also, I think the rest of the teachers should know that A, there is a connection to this religious order and the disappearance of one of their students, and also that, we were attacked. Even if we don't have proof, I think it would be good for administration to know, just in case any of them were getting a little sympathetic about letting them on campus. And also, it's not that I want the Magambi to go, busting down doors, but we do have resources. Divination, and I don't know, there has to be something. It just bothers me. It feels like at every possible
intersection here, they have not been particularly proactive about finding this missing student, and it just doesn't seem to be bothering them the way it's bothering me, and I don't know quite how to process that.
On that note, do you want to go to speak to Teacher Ott right now?
I think I was gonna wait for the morning to do that because
Sure.
it is probably, at this point, the
Yes.
the cork board is out. It's probably at least 10
Yeah.
o'clock at night.
Your friends have returned with snacks.
Here, Avi, have a honeysucker.
No, thank you. I appreciate that, though.
It doesn't have flies in it. It's just honey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I made ones without flies for people. Oh my goodness.
Somehow I don't believe you.
And
It's
you
fly
can literally
residue in
see
it.
through them. They're honey.
Why? It's fly residue.
Fly is not gonna hurt you if
Yeah, did you
Little
even
extra
wash
protein.
your hands when you made the ones with flies? and
Ophelia,
the ones
Ophelia,
without
what I'm about to
flies?
say, please know what I'm about to say is a joke and is no way a shot at you in any way. I guess you aren't quite at fly swallowing age yet.
By the by, while you guys are having this
Yeah.
conversation,
Because there was an
strands
old
of
lady who
glowing
swallowed
dawn
a fly.
Tizinway pops her head out of her room like, nice to see you all. I'm glad you're back. My kids are trying to sleep.
Sorry.
I just got them down. Please.
Of course. We'll whisper from here on out. Sorry.
Thanks for the raid. So what I'm seeing is don't cast blowhorn.
Yes.
You
You
mean
should never
bullhorn?
Probably
cast
don't do that on campus
Yeah.
for as a rule.
Elderworm Studios, thank you for the raid, by the way.
And Strands, if you ever need a lullaby, you know I'm right here. Your
They do love it. I may take you up on that. Assuming
so
you
the
stick around on
teachers-
campus for very long. You guys seem to be pretty on top of things sometimes.
It's interesting that Tizenway Strands of Going Dung pokes her head in at this time because Avi, maybe even before she is out of earshot, says,
The second thing I want to do is maybe see if we can't commune with Grandmother Spider. There is an age-old tradition of going to one's elders and seeking their help. That is colloquially referred to as snitching to their mom, and I feel like maybe snitching to this god's mom that they have, possibly possessed someone and are up to some nefarious dealings and all of that. She might have an interest in it because if this storybook is to be believed, which is, still really the only resource we have on this deity, that the illuminated tree seems to be following.
Should be noted, you do, because of your weird sliding into it by accident, you do have access to the commune ritual.
Exactly.
Level
which
6
is why
ritual.
I thought that maybe communing with Grandmother Spider might be a little bit more fruitful than communing with the thing that is possibly hurting our friend.
If you recall from when you accidentally essentially cast commune, you do get more of a servitor. It is
Yes.
it is a much bigger deal to directly speak to a deity.
Oh, of course, but I can still tell a servitor spider, be like, hey, your god's kid is doing a lot of nonsense and hurting some people, and you tapping into ley lines they might not have any business tapping into. And you supposedly were, dealing with them, and they don't seem super dealt with at the moment. Maybe in more respectful words, but something to
regular
Some-
kids.
something to that effect. Where she might not be aware that her kid is out here causing trouble. But those are my two ideas for gathering more information, because who knows, maybe the school will surprise me and we'll find out that they have gathered more information about this than we have, and maybe at the very least talking to the school about this will, I don't know, put some more eyes on the situation.
Endures in Darkness tugs at your sleeve. You realize
Yes.
you have now made your way back to your quarters in the library. You've been talking this whole way. Like, oh, we're here. By the way, Igora, you find a lovely bundle, a basket, waiting for you in your quarters of a collection of small bottles of various different spirits with a note
Oh.
from your pal Cesare wishing you a welcome home. He unfortunately is out right now. He's on a little trip with talking to some out-of-town suppliers,
Yeah.
but he wanted to make sure this was here when you got back.
There's like 10 bottles around that
Aw.
of like little travel size
It's-
ones.
It's like a basket if you emptied a mini bar into a basket.
Okay, Igor just like takes like 10 of them, uncorks them, says, "All right, I'm heading to bed, y'all. This will help with the nightmares." Takes all the 10 and just plops.
You're
It
not
should be
gonna
noted,
shit.
alcohol actually blocks REM sleep, so you will not have a restful night.
It never does.
Well, I will see you tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow morning we can get a hold of some of the teachers, and have a real conversation about this where we are not just talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna do something about this, and not actually do anything about this.
All right. Does anyone want to do anything before bed, or do you just want to get a good night's rest right away and start?
I'm down to just get a good night's rest.
It's been so long since we've been able to sleep in our own beds.
The familiar sounds and smells of the Magambia waft in through your windows. You guys do feel, despite how much alcohol you may have consumed, this is possibly the most restful and comfortable sleep that you have had in literal months. You guys are back in the school, the home you chose at the beginning of this adventure, and you feel like, yes, there's a lot of things that seem to maybe be spiraling out of control. There's a lot of uncertainty, and not to mention, you guys are still sitting on that golden map to a potentially legendary lost city. But sitting here, lying in your comfortable beds in the quarters you earned by becoming lore speakers, you feel like, you know what? We can handle this. We've done crazy things, but we can do this. You wake up with your hands severed. No.
All right, who's the Dark Urge?
Honestly, I
Yeah.
would not have.
You see
been
a weird
surprised.
dragonborn knitting in the corner a long scarf that just has "kill, maim, burn" written on the scarf
Oh my
now.
god.
Jeez.
Oh, you're finally awake.
My ancestors are smiling at me, Imperial.
How does everybody sleep?
Great.
You all get a wonderful, restful sleep.
I'm so
Love
curious
that.
to see if that gets retconned next week when we find out whatever the hell Charlotte's doing.
Charlotte goes on a journey to the center of the mind. She does a
She does a
naughty
Twilight
mind
Zone.
a naughty mind meld with Mercedes' head.
But we wake up the next morning,
Yes.
and I'm going to, probably seek out the party, have a good breakfast, and then seek out Teacher.
Actually, Endures the Darkness has brought breakfast to you guys out in the common room of your
Aw.
library. He thought it would be a nice welcome home that you guys don't have to dive right back into the hubbub of the cafeteria. And he had the cafeteria
Aw.
cater a little breakfast for you guys in the library.
Breakfast in the library.
Not exactly breakfast in bed, but also helps that Endures in Darkness doesn't need nearly as much sleep as you guys do.
Yeah. But still, thank you. This is
You
so nice.
No,
You spoiled us, rightfully so. But
He's
you
much-
spoiled us.
He's a much more effective TA now that he is the school's resources again, and he has people even lower on the ladder than him that he can order around.
Eh,
You can delegate.
everyone, please be careful with your food in the library. We don't want another bug problem.
Yes, thank you.
Everyone make
Listen,
a perception check.
Thought we were gonna talk about talking the library so that we didn't have to deal with any more bugs.
I put as much cock as I could get from the Magambia and sealed it up fully, but I'm not great at handyman.
Caulking.
You're not great with cock.
No, I'm not.
I mean, you're great.
So
with
Choco sticks his head in the
Choco.
window. For context,
okay.
anyone who is stuck with us from the raid, we have a large dragon chicken thing.
Matt made the mistake of, as flavor text, when we were going to see the chicken breeder, which is a real part of the AP,
Named McKenna.
describing some of the more exotic breeds of chicken, and he made the mistake of describing an especially large rooster with obsidian-colored feathers.
And thusly,
And you can
I
piece
thusly,
that puzzle together.
I thusly bought it to become a trap Roomba, but then I was outvoted, and then I took the druid archetype that made it into an animal companion. It was meant to be a trap Roomba. It did not
Well,
But
become.
none of
listen,
us like
and-
animal abuse.
And then we
Will.
owed it a blood debt. So like, there's that.
There's that too.
There's a lot
Anyway,
of
that's-
stuff going on beyond under the hood here.
That's the Choco history.
That's the
Um,
Choco. That's the history of Choco, the dragon bird. If you've played Banjo-Kazooie, when Kazooie turns into a dragon, think like that.
That's a deep cut.
Yes, it is. But that's,
So you guys get a wonderful breakfast. What is everyone wanting to do in the school? Assuming you are not immediately leaping into, the next chapter of the AP.
Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you, Matthew?
Not necessarily.
I
I
like
kind
that too much.
I kind of like you guys poking around, but I do worry that when you go off and do these little tangents on your side, other people are reduced to like looking at their phones or something.
no, you're fine.
That sounds like a them problem. I'm having fun.
I
Um,
I heavily anticipate us doing this until around the middle of November when the Witch Rework comes out.
The plan has been revealed.
Like that's,
How dare you, first
that's,
of all?
that's what I'm expecting to happen.
How
are-
dare you come up with a better plan than I had, which was I just want to find my friend.
We are filibustering until we can redo the witch character.
I am not filibustering until the Witch remaster, although that is a very good idea.
I thought
It's cute.
Um,
It's cute. You think you have a choice.
I know.
Wow.
Oh, do you also have freezable shapes in your wine, Matthew?
Wow.
I have
colored fruit
plastic,
beverage,
plastic ice cubes.
colored,
Freezable-
God, you guys
freezable
are
wine
you guys are
shapes.
so
Colored fruit
cute.
beverage.
I'm having wonderful grape juice.
there you go.
Freezable wine shape
Yay.
friends. I have every intention of talking to Teacher Ott and company after this. I'm going to get as many members of the administration and faculty together as I can for this.
Well, we might as well kill two birds with one stone. We still have to report to the Sun Mage about
Yeah.
all the stuff, so we might as well do that. And
Oh
Well,
yeah,
that's
about all of what
that.
happened in Mazzali.
yeah, we might as well kill two birds
want-
with one stone.
Are you going to tell them about the golden tablet map?
Yes.
Hell no.
Feels like it should be a separate conversation, but I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to it.
Before we do that, can I check on Benji? How's she been doing?
Yeah.
Benji is doing great. She has been given a job around campus as a little messenger.
Oh,
She's got a little like newsboy cap and a
Oh.
little satchel, and people give her little like envelopes, and she does like inter-campus mail that for people who don't know how to use message and the like. There's in fact, you notice there's a tiny little door now on the outside of the Spire dormitory that leads into like she
Oh.
has like not a cave, but like a little enclosure thing. She still likes to sort of live in smaller like enclosed areas.
A
finds-
little mouse tunnel.
Yeah, she finds a little.
Oh my god.
She gets a little nervous spending too much time with the open sky. Because she spends so
Yeah.
much time underground, she's like, "Don't look at the sky. It makes me a little anxious. But as long as I'm running, moving forward, back and forth, I'm fine, and I get to meet all sorts of nice people. And people
I
always
would
look happy when I bring them notes.
I am personally very happy. Would be very happy to receive a note from Benji. Keep in mind this is Benji, not Benji, who is a player character who may or may not be returning shortly.
Ooh, that's
So are you
the
g-
tea.
Wink
Are
wonk.
you guys going to be heading to the like the main kind of like campus or the main administration building where a lot of the teachers work have their
Yes.
offices?
Yes.
All right, you guys are making your way through the campus. Can everyone give me a quick perception check?
Perhaps.
Uh, hell no.
One for Agate.
Just eager.
Al Agate got 35. Ooh.
That was a honey Madeline and a half.
Was it?
Yeah. That's Igara. Let's do Gamakichi.
Oh, Makichi. Both Ophelia and Agate. It's a little hard to convey because Agate doesn't necessarily say anything, but she kind of like she's been walking alongside you guys, and she kind of stops and like wrinkles her nose a little bit. Ophelia, though, you catch on the morning breeze smell of kind of alcoholish, like smell rum a little bit. And as you guys,
Wow.
as you stop and like just take this in, out of the corner of your eye, you just notice a little farther up the path on like a bench along the path, there was a figure sitting on a bench just by themselves.
Well,
Shazari?
who is it?
Oddly enough, something about the proportions makes you think Shazari for a moment, but you've never seen Shazari wearing a full like traveler's cloak with a hood up.
Is this the guy?
Is this
So,
what was his
important
name?
point of order. When we discussed the guy who was trying to kill Mercedes, Will never actually told the party that there was a man trying to conscript him to finish the job. However, last week Will said that he told the party everything.
Yeah,
So, for a point of clarification, Will, does the party know who this guy is?
I would assume so.
So you did. We can retcon
Yeah,
that.
I would have totally told y'all. When we
To be
were
fair, you
talking
also
about it.
know very little about their identity. They were wearing a mask when they met with Igora.
Yeah.
Avi sort of pulls on your sleeve, eager, and be like, "Is that the guy?"
Yeah, y'all head ahead. I'll deal with this person.
Well, what if we all talk to him?
Then that would be suspicious, Avi. We're not supposed to know anything.
Well, what if I hid an eagle?
They are standing up and walking towards you guys.
Oh well, you know.
Well,
it's not good
Avi-
if we don't all talk to him now.
Let's
Hey.
just go.
Friendo, how can I help you?
Oh, it's the top of the morning to you.
This is-
And
I forgot about that dialect.
you do see now that they're kind of standing up, they're wearing a well-worn travel cloak with a hood, and you see underneath the cloak there seems to be sort of like some studded leather armor. There appears to be a like a rapier at their hip. This seems to be the very image of a kind of seasoned adventurer. This is like someone you'd see higher up in like the Pathfinder Society potentially. They are still wearing kind of a very you guys are used to seeing masks that are nicely crafted and are very much in the style of the Moagi Expanse. You know, like mask making is a big tradition here at the school and comes from the various cultures of the Moagi Expanse. This mask looks very foreign. This mask does not belong in the Magambia, really, or the Moagi Expanse. This is like a foreign character from across.
Can
the
Avi identify it with society?
You could certainly make a check if you want to try and identify any aspect of their.
31.
Oh, 32.
You think they maybe
Fine.
just made this mask themselves? The craftsmanship is not great.
Mm.
It's kind of a very plain, kind of cat-like mask, but the eyes are just kind of like pointy, kind of like slits. And you can see where the mask has little cat ears poking up under the hood. But you do see actually swishing a little very slowly under the back of their coat an actual like catfolk tail.
Oh.
But I'm also going to say with the society check, a few you do clock hanging from their belt, very disused, very old looking, appears to be a wayfinder.
I have a very important update.
Oh, wayfinder.
What's that?
Charlotte has
I
found
saw
the
that.
snuggie Mercedes wore and wraps it
Uh-oh.
around the body to keep warm.
Aww.
There we go.
Yay.
Also,
This is
By
the
mo-
content we're here for.
by moving
Yes.
the Snuggie, a door has opened in the Black Hat, unseen and unobserved. Whether that's good or
Interesting.
bad, well, we may not know.
Hmm.
Can I and back to the immediate concern, the
Yeah.
figure speaks. Might I walk with you on this fine morning?
Where are you?
We're on our way to
Nice.
work. We can have a conversation here if you'd like.
Well, it seems a tad awkward just to stand in the middle of the path.
Oh,
We
we'll
could
step
sit on the
off
bench,
side.
we could sit under a tree and enjoy some grass.
We'll step off to the side. You know you shouldn't eat that.
The groundskeeper does a pretty good job of keeping everything clean, but I don't know if I would just go around eating the grass.
I didn't say that eating the grass, just sitting on the grass.
Why are you guys so obsessed with eating grass right now?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Um.
Anyway, what can we help you with?
Anyway, back to the first question. Who are you?
Oh, you can call me Snow.
Snow. Hi,
That's a
Snow.
fake ass name.
I believe we have an acquaintance in common, and I wanted to speak with you about him,
All of us?
if you prefer.
Sure. The more the merrier.
They kind of gesture off to the side of the path. There's like a hill with a nice big tree that you guys could sit under.
Sure. We'll go to a secondary location.
No, it's literally like 10 feet away. Like I'm picturing almost like the campus of the Mangambia is almost like at times a park where it's got paths with benches and there are trees and hills. So there are already students sitting around on the grass, practicing cantrips and stuff and having like study group picnics.
I'm gonna walk over there and go plunk my little bat butt down.
The figure kind of walks over with you, Snow. They sit down. Before they say anything, they pull a flask out, unscrew it, take a swig. You smell something like evergreen almost like, and they kind of hold it out to any of you.
Higura just takes it and swings it back and hands it back.
A little
What?
hair
It's
of
like
it.
9 o'clock in the morning.
It's like one sip. It's a very strong alcohol. I wanted to try it. It's not the end of the world.
They kind of like shrug a little. I mean, to be fair, happy hour was 12 hours ago in Absalom.
There you go.
Are we in Absalon?
It's
Kind of looks
5 o'clock
around.
somewhere.
Oh, no, we're not.
Crazy how that happens.
I mean, I think I was at the border of what's the undead place again? I can't remember.
Geb.
Yeah, I was at the border there 2 days ago. That wasn't fun.
That doesn't sound fun. But anyway,
No, something tried to eat me foot.
I'm
Oh.
sorry, but you seem like you want something.
Oh,
And
I
I'm not
just
trying to be rude, but we are in a bit of a hurry.
well, then I won't take too much of your time. I'll come right to the point, so to speak. I believe you've had a bit of an encounter with one Mercedes as of late.
Yeah.
She's a friend.
Hey, whatever y'all did, it's kicked up.
I'm not sure what that means.
Head was fully separated.
Oh, well, that's not particularly new news. But as from what I have learned from some local friends of mine, there was a bit of a tiff yesterday at the shop,
Yeah.
and that the head might be in a position now to let's just say undergo treatment.
What's the next
Um,
step?
If we knew where it was.
That's a good point.
What's the next step if it isn't?
There is a particular ritual that is to be undergone, a sort of purification. I don't mean to be cagey. It's all just, it's a bit personal, it's a bit complicated, a bit tragic, as all good stories are.
You have the ritual?
Problem is, there's good news and there's bad news on that front. The good news is, we know that there is a ritual that can be done to purify our head, to return Mercedes to state that she was previously when I and my friends knew her, when she was, I don't know, less scary, I suppose you could say. The bad news is the only known source of a crucial part of the ingredient is sort of lost. There's only fragment recordings of this particular ingredient. It's a very rare flower, and was only ever seen in a city that has passed from history.
Hmm. Okay.
If it's the Golden City, I'm gonna be so mad.
What's the flower?
It's called the Kiss of the Sun.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Kiss of the
it's
sun.
like a double layered lily almost.
Oh, a double lily.
It's got like 8 petals, but they're on like stacked on top of each other, and then it's got like, I think, red pollen. It's like, I'm not a botanist. The only interaction I have with anything grown in the ground is when it's made into this up the the flask, barley and wheat, you know.
Can I be candid with you?
Oh, well, what are we being cagey before?
Well, some of us were. I'm not convinced that you have Mercedes' best interest at heart. And I don't know why we should do the ritual that you're telling us to do.
The figure kind of sighs, and you know, that's to be fair. I'm not the most trusting looking individual. I suppose there needs to be a show of faith, and she reaches up and removes her mask, and you see clearly now that she is a cat folk, as like Shazere, a little older than probably any of you. Lovely kind of white gray fur, sea green eyes, and then she pulls a little book from her cloak and opens it up, rifles to a page, kind of looks at whatever she's opened the page to kind of wistfully, and then turns the book and offers it to Igra.
Takes book.
There is a lovely kind of sketch on the page, and it has been colored with like charcoals and kind of like pigments or something, so there's color to it. It appears to be a sketch of 3 individuals. There is the catfolk, Snow, looking a little younger. There is a very crotchety looking orc, kind of bent over, leaning on a gnarled staff. He seems to have a begrudging kind of smile on his face. And the third figure is a younger looking Mercedes.
Aww.
Hair is a little more unkept. She seems to have kind of like dark purplish freckles.
Oh.
And she seems to be wearing traveling kind of clothes. Like, they're perfectly serviceable clothes in the sketch, but they're certainly nowhere near the kind of high class kind of femme fatale kind of clothes that you guys have ever seen Mercedes wearing.
Nothing's easy for me, is it? I just hand Avi the book, and Ego's just going to be like, I'll be right back. And he's just going to like walk away for a few seconds.
Is it just me, or look, we tell each other things now. We don't hide things from each other anymore. So I'm just gonna come right out and say that Igra told us all about your little plan. It did not seem like you were trying to help Mercedes when you contacted Igra last time.
What
They-
changed?
They seem a tad bit reluctant to speak. If anyone wants to get the full story of the fall and rise of Mercedes, proprietor of the Black Hat, someone can make a diplomacy check.
All you, babe. All you.
Beautiful
Because
little
it ain't gonna
sketch you
be
have
me.
in there. How old were you guys?
All right, performance.
I'm gonna re-roll that because that's a 2.
Two.
Count them. 2
31.
and 5.
They were already a little agreeable. So, I'm not going to do the accent the whole time and not going to speak as them the whole time. But so the long and short of it is, Mercedes was once a young tiefling adventurer. She was part of a small group. They were in the Pathfinder Society. They were going out in the world, make their fortune. They got in, all sorts of the usual kind of scrapes and misadventures that you get in the Pathfinder Society. But Mercedes always sort of had some questions in her life. She was a tiefling. She didn't know anything about that side of her family, her heritage. And it kind of bothered her. And as she went on, she started to try and seek out bits of lore. And she eventually discovered that the tiefling, the pointy horn part of her heritage was specifically diabolic. It was devilish. And she thought she eventually got this idea that she didn't talk about really, and only kind of came to the surface later. And they kind of wish she had talked to her friends about it, that she felt like something was missing in her life, and that to feel complete, to be the most realized version of herself, she had to embrace this part of her heritage. And she committed to doing a ritual she found in an old ruin in an old tome that she probably shouldn't have done. Because when she did the ritual, it brought the devilish part of her heritage to the forefront. She became much more powerful. She became more confident. Aged her up a little bit, but she developed a bit of an edge. She became a little cruel, a little callous, and this was very concerning to her friends. They tried to talk to her about it. She didn't listen. Bad blood started to develop. Eventually, it led to, unfortunately, a bit of an epic fight. Mercedes summoned devils from the hells and stuff to confront her companions, and one thing led to another. An unfortunate combat, tensions rose, and she was decapitated. And this was a very painful experience for her friends, and such an experience.
It was a painful experience for
Yes.
her.
Well, they were all very close. They, not in a romantic sense, but they loved each other. And what they felt that they kind of were not forced to do, but how things ended up, it was very traumatic for everyone involved, obviously. And they just sort of left the scene of that fight. Later on, they decided, all right, you know what, we need to, have a proper burial and everything, funeral, everything. They go back just to discover the body was gone.
Not there. Wow.
And they searched for years and stuff, and they eventually found out that Mercedes was still up and about, and she was still kind of using some of the magics and the powers she had got from embracing her devilish side of her heritage, but she wasn't being as kind of power hungry or malevolent as she had gotten at her worst times. She was just sort of doing the same thing over and over again, where she was making deals. She was, facilitating people to either be their best or worst selves, and, leading those people who are their worst selves into horribly ironic fates. And her friends didn't know what to do about this. They didn't think they could fight her again. They could not bring themselves to do that, really. And that's when they sort of heard about you guys interacting with them, and that's sort of long after that they approached Igora.
To kill her.
Not necessarily kill her. They want
that's
the
how
purification.
they made it seem at the time. And to be entirely honest with you, I'm a little bit irked that they didn't just give me this information then, because this would have caused a whole lot of less drama for us then. Yep.
To be fair, we didn't know you, and you didn't really dig too deep.
Well,
I think that not that I ever would, but if I wanted to hire a hitman, I might dig a lot. I'm not trying to be rude. It just seems like a lapse in judgment.
Especially because if
All
your
right,
goal was
and-
to help
and-
her, there were people there who, like us, who were trying to help.
Yes, to
I
be
mean,
fair,
that
out of the
seems
party, I'm the one who doesn't like them. So you came to like literally the worst one in that case.
I'm getting that. I'm getting that.
Yeah.
I feel like we did not handle this the best.
You
we
really
caught to that.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No offense. Again, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just a matter of,
And also, to be fair, out of the two friends that are involved in this, I'm the most open and friendly. I'm the bard of the group.
Oh boy.
Our other friend,
Ours is better.
the other friend, the sorcerer. He's what you would call a prickly pear.
Uh-huh.
So
All right.
So you're a bard, and the orc is a sorcerer. So what is Mercedes?
Mercedes was also a sorcerer.
Gotcha. Wondering if she was a witch.
No, she's much too
Probably
thick.
to the best that she's not.
Sorry, Will, what was that?
Nothing.
She's much too effective to be a witch.
You
Well,
have something you want to say to
that wasn't
her
that wasn't in character. That was a
Igor?
joke about the meta of the witch class.
Mhm.
I mean, he ain't wrong.
Hold on, let me cast heal on the fourth wall.
I just thought it was funny. Okay, so in all seriousness, we
Takes
need
another
a
swig from the flask.
special flower. Easy.
The kiss of the sun.
Kiss of the sun.
And then we need to submerge Mercedes' head in this, and I'm hoping it will return her to the state in which she was before she did her misguided ritual.
All right, so now,
State, Mississippi.
Avi, let me ask you the question. You said about not wanting to change who Mercedes was without consent on this matter. Knowing the information you have now, does that still stand?
It does. I
Okay.
think that she made her choices. However, I think that helping her in any capacity is better than letting her sit the way she is sitting right now.
Cool.
To be perfectly clear, we only have the vaguest impression of what went down yesterday. What state is she in?
Oh, she's been beheaded and frozen.
She's just kind of chilling out.
I mean, she's technically been beheaded for years, but
Oh,
frozen is
She's a
new.
little extra beheaded.
Yeah, we froze the head in a thing of ice. It's like an
I mean,
ice
that's
cube.
actually probably one of the better ways this could have been done.
Yeah.
Taking a
I
nap.
thought so too.
Nice nap.
Assuming it's not like some sort of epic magic ice, you know how to get her out of there, yes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it should be mentioned, the magical potion that she has to be submerged in has to actually touch her.
Yeah, we're fine. We got that. It's okay.
Deception
We'll figure
check.
it out.
How often does she need to be submerged?
Oh, it's a purification ritual. It just has to be happen once. We. All right. Lexi believes you.
Oh, god damn it, Matthew.
What?
Nothing. Okay, so we have that information. Now, the question that's on my mind as a person, Avi, I apologize for stepping on your toes here, but this is originally this
That's
contact.
okay. Avi doesn't have toes. Nope.
Anyway, the ritual that she did that caused her to be like this, hypothetically speaking, does that still exist?
No. The grimoire that she found laughed and then burst into flames after it was used.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it kind of set the tone for the next few
Kinda
years.
dickish.
That's kind of disappointing. All right.
So then, if you all weren't the ones who went and finished the beheading and made her all crazy, who did?
I still think my theory still stands.
Well, no,
that
the sequence of events is she did the devilish ritual. She got kind of dark. We had a terrible falling out with violence. She was beheaded during the fight. It was horrible for everyone.
Yeah.
And then she apparently put her head back on with a bit of string or something, and then just sort of became a shopkeep for years and sort of was just running on autopilot.
I'm talking more recently. So when we left, she was fine. She was doing good. And
Live long
then
and prosper, Will.
we were gone to Mazzali on a diplomatic mission for a few months, and when we came back, she was in a state. There was nothing going on upstairs.
Igor's hand just goes up. Avi, I would like to posit that my theory is still probably correct.
Which is what?
I imagine she took a hit of the love that Ophelia's heart was capable of feeling and could not handle it.
I've got a lot of love to give to you.
I feel as though this is a direct result of her imbibing in her own supply, so to speak.
I don't know, maybe.
I feel like this is like oh man, I sure wish I could feel romantic feelings for this amazingly attractive alchemist that I just met. Oh hey, right here.
I mean, there's a reason that I got rid of it.
She had relationships before, though. I don't know why a simple thing would overwhelm her, because from all we heard before your encounter yesterday, she seemed to be going a bit off the rails. We worried she was starting to like self-destruct or something. We were going to do something if you didn't.
It kind of felt self-destructive in a way. We had a friend who did not want the ability to feel romantic affection anymore.
Points to Ophelia.
So they sold that to Mercedes, and she bought it. And then she was not able to see. She could kind of hear that friend last night, and then when that friend hit her with a spell, she clutched her heart. So I do think that Igra's theory has some merit. I was tossing around a similar theory. It's just a matter of like, I don't know if that was the catalyst or if there was something else going on. I just sort of thought whoever had been, trying to track her down to hurt her, and I gesture at Snow, had sort of come back and tried to finish the job and failed.
I'll be straight with you. My grasp of magic is kind of weird. I don't really understand necessarily how I do half the things I do. I will take this theory to my friend the sorcerer. He's more of a grumpy, actually knows how magic works sort of fella. I do wonder, though. I feel like the state she was in was sort of a very delicate thing that was seemingly working, but I guess the affection from your friend was just a little too much for this delicately balanced system. But
I'm gonna be really mad if you're lying.
I am not sober enough to lie.
I will probably have to kill you if you're lying.
Why do you gotta jump to that?
If they are lying, this will lead to violence with them, and then they will probably die. I don't know why. I'm not jumping to it. I am just stating the facts.
Snow just gives a reassuring little pat on Aviali's shoulder. Don't you worry, love. I've heard worse from better people.
Sorry, Eva, it was a little funny.
I mean, you should hear the kind of things we get yelled at from the Pathfinder Society sometimes.
Are you still part of the Pathfinder Society?
I mean, we're sort of on sabbatical.
Sabbatical, gotcha.
Yeah. But
Hey, speaking of the Pathfinder Society, do y'all know anything about that illuminated tree, what's moved into town, and also other towns?
I'm afraid I haven't checked in with any local Pathfinder Society lodges recently, so if they've gotten the information, I don't know it. But if it'll help perhaps endear a bit of trust, I can check in at some point. But I've said my piece. I'm not going to try and force the issue with you, so if you have other business today, I will be here for the rest of the day if you want to chat. So you often do your business.
Kiss of the sun.
Kiss of the sun.
All right.
I can provide a sketch at some point if you'll be needing it.
Yeah, if you can send it to the Tree Stump Library where you met me, that's our home now.
They just sort of step up, and you notice this kind of whole time they've been doing that thing where, they roll a coin between their fingers back and forth. They snatch the coin sort of out of the air. They turn to the tree they've been leaning on, and they put the coin into the tree, into seemingly like a slot that just appeared there, and a door opens. And you guys see through the door, and there's like a tavern inside there with like trays being invisibly carried around.
Oh, there's so many secret bars at the school.
Oh, I'm afraid this is nothing to do with the school. This is just a little bit of the old flim flam that I can do. Feel free to
Pretty
knock.
good flim flam.
Well, you live long enough, you learn some things. I'll be here if you need it. And they kind of walk through the door and half kind of close it. It's open a crack, so there's like a weird seam in the tree now. Avi, because you are of a certain level, you recognize this as the Magnificent Mansion spell.
Oh, fancy. Breaking out the Magnificent Mansion just for us.
We should probably go visit her after this because that sounds like a good time.
She really picked the absolute worst person to come and talk to.
They really did.
They really did.
A wild lapse in judgment.
That was so stupid.
I mean, listen, if they really thought that she just needed to die, then aren't you just gonna go?
To be fair, from an outsider perspective, they thought that it was very possible that the rest of you were sort of under Mercedes' sway, and Igra seemed to be the only one who seemed to be not taken in. But to be fair, this is all they got by just kind of wandering around you guys as you were wandering through town and everything and interacting. Though they've been spying on you guys for quite a while in a way.
Yo.
Nah.
Creeps.
Either way, let's go and let's go work, shall we, team?
No, they thought you were all very nice people.
Oh,
knew I did
we
it.
are. Thank you. Teachers, and I'm assuming we're meeting Miriama there just for the sake of having her there.
I mean, you could request her there. You're a teacher. You can tell her where to go.
I request politely. I do not make it mandatory.
Do you pull her out of class?
I give her
Mariana, please come to the
permission.
teacher arts office. Mariana, please come to teacher arts office.
Ooh, Essie, it's just no one else cares. It's just Essie being like, "Ooh, you're in trouble."
Mariana just turns like, honestly, is anyone surprised?
That's my girl. That's my girl.
You guys make it to teacher's arts office, and you knock on the door, I presume.
Yeah.
You come in, and their desk is uncharacteristically kind of clean of magical knickknacks, but there is a kind of stack of papers. The papers are all kind of like different looking. It looks like some of them are parchment, some are kind of more kind of what's it called, vellum, like the kind of leather they use for scrolls and stuff. It seems to be all sorts of different documents, and teacher Ott has a somewhat somber expression on their face.
You seem uncharacteristically unwhimsical.
Please take a seat, everyone.
Oh no.
Well, that seems good.
I know you all have been concerned about the disappearance of Kiara from the campus and the seeming inaction of the school itself into ascertaining her current state of affairs.
Yes.
It should be noted that there was never a whole lot of evidence that Kiara
Different NPC.
Yeah, Kiara left the school under any sort of duress. There were quite a few odd occurrences that occurred in the aftermath of her departure, including the memory-altering letters. And so, I should reveal to you at this time that for several months now, there has been an investigation going by several members of the school who have been away from Nintambu. They have been tracking rumors and hearsay, sightings of Kiara and those that Kiara has interacted with outside the school. And unfortunately, the trail has hit a bit of a wall. Kind of gestures to the stack of papers in front of them. There's a fair amount of information in here, but unfortunately, all of it somewhat amounts to not much at all. We have places she was seen, we have individuals she spoke to, but none of them are any particular interest. Some of them were even questioned after the fact, and it was all very mundane, asking about lodging, transportation. We can tell you that she seemed to be traveling deeper and deeper into untamed and unsettled lands here in the Mwagi Expanse, until eventually she disappeared into a dense and particularly inhospitable patch of the jungle. She seemed he kind of pulls out a piece of paper from the bottom, a smaller one compared to the others. We have reason to believe that near the end of our observations of her, she betrayed that she knew that she was being followed, and that for a time she had let herself be followed. She did not seem concerned that she was being observed.
Interesting.
I know, Avi, you were concerned that the campus seemed to be taking inaction, but in truth, we were simply waiting until we had something substantial to report. We had hoped we would make some headway in the months while you were gone. Well, we were all gone at the Mazzali, but it seems efforts have been made to have obscure her whereabouts these days. Divinations have met with success and confusion. More esoteric methods have yielded no results. It seems a great power is arrayed against our efforts in this particular venture. Not to mention that they seem to be divine magic related, which is, I'll say,
Not our strong suit.
It is a bit of a blind spot for the Magambia. We have some individuals here who have made this particular school of magic their study, but considering divine magic is intermingled with faith, it's difficult to find people who are interested without also having faith in it. Then it becomes a very personal matter for them. So,
Avi looks. I think this should be news that lands sadly upon someone's shoulders, but this is actually, she looks more hopeful about this than she has in a while now. And says, "You'll have no idea how cathartic and heartening it is just to hear that I am not the only one who has been pursuing this, because I understand the need for discretion, of course, but it's been a long journey, and it's been a year since the last we spoke of this, and I was beginning to worry that nobody cared anymore, or at the very least the people who did care did not have her best interests at heart."
Teacher Ott kind of reaches out and puts a comforting hand on yours. It's huge compared to yours.
Yeah.
There is one piece of information that has stood out that I feel I should impart to you. And you notice Teacher Ott glances now and acknowledges for the first time the presence of Endures in Darkness in the room. There was an inquiry that Kiara made during her travels that has stood out because it was a singular time she made an inquiry, and it was early on, perhaps before she knew she was being observed. She made a purchase at a store of a rare book to dealing with the history of the Mushroom War.
Yup. Okay, we have so much to talk about because I feel like I've learned so much stuff, and I feel like your knowledge and my knowledge, we may be able to put some puzzle pieces together. Okay, I pull the whole corkboard out of the bag of holding.
Where are we
The
holding?
whole corkboard.
And that's where
all
we're
of
going to
my
end the
notes,
session
all of my
for tonight.
journals.
I'll let y'all do this. I'm going to go and take care of something. Just turns around.
Igor, what do you have to take care of? This could be a really big breakthrough.
I'm going to buy the magical items I've been trying to buy for the last 3 days.
Oh, by the way, there's a shortage of Eon stones. No, no, I'm not gonna be a dick like that.
Like one of the most common magical items.
It's not that common, but
It depends on the Aeon Stone, I feel like.
Yes.
But yes, thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode of Strength 1000. Join us next week for a Kiara lore dump.
You could try to sound excited about it.
I'm
Well,
very
no.
excited about it.
to be temper your expectations, that's the extent of the information they have. She bought a book about the Mushroom War, and they have
Yes, but
nothing
now
more to add.
McKenna's going to start.
No, I'm not. I think I've done this speech enough times on this channel that we don't need the recap.
I should write a thing, put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes. Regardless, I am curious to see if Teacher Ott has any observations about the information that I have gathered that I have not gleaned yet.
Perhaps they have some observations.
Perhaps. I can actually imagine him maybe making that joke at some point.
That's a good job.
Like a staff mixer and the room just goes quiet, like then he doesn't tell it again for another 2 years.
I'd applaud that one. But thank you all so much. Check out our other shows tomorrow night. If you like Starfinder and you've done Starfinder Society at all, the ship I'm trying to build for Elisandra is one of the Starfinder Society ships.
Nice.
So come and check that out. Or it's modeled after it. Then on Wednesday, Wild Ambition. I don't know who's actually going to be there yet, so we'll find out who is there and what we'll be doing. And then Friday, Astral Calling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, Salt and Sorcery. We'll have Calf back with us this week. We're looking forward to it. To finish off Solasta, hopefully. And then we'll start Baldur's Gate. Then on Sunday, we have Cozy Co-op, Will, Sarah, Emily playing Sunhaven. It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of relaxing. Probably hear Sarah talk about cats for a fair amount of time. So if that interests you, it interests me. Make sure to come down for that. Otherwise, check out McKenna on TikTok at McKenna Ray Art. Check out Matt at Frida Payne. Check out Zoe at Zozy Pose. And check us out here at Tabletop Rolls. Thank you all so much for coming. And we'll see you all on the next one.
Have a good night, everyone.